Hi folks, HR Funk here. Behind me I have hanging the pieces of my M&P 15, which is going to be part of, or the subject of, my newest Duracoat project. My M&P 15 rifle is about 9 years old as of 2016, and it's getting to the point where, since it spends virtually its entire life in a vehicle, I'm starting to see some rust on there. What I've done to this point is gone ahead, degreased the rifle, stripped it, I've sanded the rust off rather, and now I'm going to start to actually Duracoat it. So I'm going to video some of the Duracoating as it occurs. The pattern that I'm going with, or what I decided was, as long as I'm going to Duracoat, I'm going to give it a little bit of pizzazz. So I'm going to be Duracoating it in the new Army camo pattern that's very similar to Multicam. I forget what the name is, Scorpion 2 or something like that. It looks very similar to Multicam. This pattern is a little intimidating because it is so complex. I want to do a quick thank you to Mon Tactical. They did a video a week or so ago showing the application of this new pattern. It was helpful. It actually looked like exactly what I was planning to do with this rifle, but it was nice to see that they had already done it and to see the great results they had. If my rifle comes out looking half as good as theirs did, I'll be quite happy. So with that said, I'm going to start actually spraying Duracoat here in a little bit, and I'm going to video this as I go, so hopefully you can see what the rifle looks like from the beginning to the end and what the final product is. One of the harder things about Duracoating is coming up with a way to manipulate the firearm while you're trying to apply the Duracoat to all the surfaces. Okay, there's the first layer on all my parts. The one good thing about having so many parts is by the time I get everything layered one time, or with one layer of Duracoat, it's pretty much time that I can go back to the first thing and start all over again, because that one's dry enough for the second layer. So this is the multi-light green that I've put on here right now. I'm going to apply at least 2 more layers of that to get good coverage on my parts. Then I'm going to let it get good and dry. Then I'll put the very first layer of stencils on, and then we'll start with a different color. One thing I didn't mention before, I'm trying something new with this project. I am trying Lauer Custom Weaponry's adhesion promoter. I've had a little bit of trouble at some times in the past. Particularly, I had one one Remington 870 4-end stock that was synthetic material, and for some reason the Duracoat just would not stick to that. So I applied the adhesion promoter to all of my synthetic parts, my bipod, my stock, and also I added it to my flashlight, which is not synthetic, it's metal. But I'm trying out that adhesion promoter to see how well that aids in getting the adhesion to the parts with the Duracoat. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video, put on a couple more layers, and I'll start it back up when I'm doing something different. And here we have all the first layer of stencils on, the multi-light green. In a few minutes I'm going to start to apply the multi-dark brown. So these stencils will represent the light colored areas in the Multicam pattern. And I'll start that video in just a moment. At this point, we've got everything done in the multi-dark brown, and these are going to become the dark, smaller markings on the, what I'll call multicam. I guess it's actually the scorpion pattern. And you can see there were some places, like the barrel underneath the handguard, that I didn't bother to use the multi-dark brown, just to kind of conserve it a little bit. When I was doing the light green, it took literally every drop to cover all of my parts. And you can see I've got quite a few parts here. There's the flashlight down there that I'm doing. And so I tried to conserve the dark brown a little, which worked. I managed to actually end up with a little bit left over. So what I'm going to do now is put my second layer of stencils onto my parts, and then we'll get ready to coat everything with the multi-medium green. The stencils are now all applied. This is my second layer of stencils that are the smaller shapes to go onto the pattern. I'm getting ready now to spray the multi-medium green. When I get that on, I'll show you how it looks at that point. At this point, the multi-medium green is applied to all the parts. You can see the stencils are all covered. The next step in the process is going to be applying the multi-dark green in random areas on all the parts, and this will form the portions of the pattern where the colors seem to blend together. Once I get that done, I'll cover large portions of those two colors, the multi-light green and the multi-dark green, with stencils, and then I'll apply the final two colors. Here's a look from another angle at the multi-medium green. I've got the sunlight coming in behind me through my garage door, so that helps to make the parts a little easier to see. Give you a little idea, or better idea, of what this color looks like. So here we are with the random shadings of the multi-dark green, and for the first time the pattern is really starting to take shape as I look at this. Up to this point, when all the colors, when I've applied them, have looked solid, even over top of the stencils, it's been basically just like Duracoating the rifle a solid color. Now I am starting to see the multicam or the scorpion pattern come alive. And here we have the last set of stencils applied. I've done my best to try to cover about 50% of the rifle, or 50% of all the rifle parts, I should say, with stencils. But one thing that I've noticed with using the cut-right stencils from Lauer Custom Weaponry is it seems like you never seem to have enough to be able to cover the rifle as well as you'd like to. In fact, I've used every last stencil. I've even done some judicious cutting with some scissors and made some of my own with the stencil material. But in any regard, we are ready for the final two colors, and this will actually wait until tomorrow. I'm going to do the multi light brown and then the multi beige, and then it's going to get about 24 hours to cure after that, and I'll hit it with a matte clear coat, and then it's going to be time to put it back together and see how it looks. Well, folks, it's pretty much all over now except for the last 3-hour wait. I've got the multi-beige applied. Basically, these last two colors, the multi-light brown and the multi-beige, I really did not apply to the entire firearm. I just sort of applied them in various places throughout, almost more as accents than anything else. There was a little bit more of the multi-light brown that I used than the multi-beige. But at this point, we're just ready to start waiting. And it's going to take about 3 hours for this to dry to the point that I can start to take the stencils off, and then we're going to see what it looks like underneath finally. Well, folks, here is my final product. This project took about 20 hours of work, just to give you an idea how much goes into this type of a camouflage pattern. When I mentioned that it was complex at the very beginning, that was a true statement. From the time I began disassembling this until this point, and actually it's still not completely reassembled, I have about 20 hours in this job, but I'm very happy with the end results. I should probably say I've got the name of this right finally. This is Operational Camouflage Pattern 2, also known as Scorpion, which is very, very similar to Multicam. There are people who can distinguish the difference between Multicam and OCP2. They are at a higher level of camouflage sophistication than I am. I really cannot see the difference. But I'm extremely happy with the way this came out. I'm going to flip the rifle around in a minute. You'll be able to see the other side as well. And then I'll give you a close-up. So stand by. Okay, I've flipped it around to the other side. You may recall from a previous video, actually this rifle has been in a few different videos. This was just a plain black rifle, and it is a black rifle no more. Again, I am extremely happy with the way this came out. Even though it was a lot of work, the end results were very, very good. Now I'll get you that close-up. And I'll flip it around and get you a close-up of the other side. And here we go, close-up from the other side. Quick look down from above. And I would flip it over so you can see the bottom, but that's just more of the same. So again, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is the first video of this sort that I've done. I've done a lot of Duracoating. This is the first time I've tried to video document the entire process. It is not a how-to video. It's more just following me along as I work my way through. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those below. And until next time, good shooting. Bye-bye.